I think we all have different reasons as to why our anxiety shows up. Like whether that's like beliefs we got from church, our parents' marriage, what we heard in like see in society, like whatever. Like maybe Disney Channel has informed how we think relationships are supposed to look like, and it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Our expectations, right? And so I think like once we get a clear picture of like why is this showing up in the first place, then we actually can start like the process of really rewiring our thoughts.
Hello and welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. I'm Andrea. I'm here with Lauren and Callie, and we have some guests this week that I'm so excited about. I just told them that I've been wanting to have them on the podcast as guests for like ever.
True.
But
they've been talking about you a lot as an Andrea.
Yes.
They as an Andrea.
And we joke like every time we have guests on here, we're like the celebrity couple. But I'm like, I don't know. Matthew and Joy might actually be low key, at least in Christian dating world, a celebrity couple. So we're very excited to have them on here. Yeah, Joy and Matthew actually are in my life group in Austin. So the three of us are representing Austin tonight. We've been doing, I guess, how long have we been in life group together? Maybe like 2 years, something like that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you've also been hanging out with him outside of life group, it sounds like. Being all
pickleball.
Yeah.
She's like pickleball, you mean?
My roommate talked Matthew and one of our other friends from life group into joining our same pickleball league. And so yeah,
we're pretending we're part of that church.
Can't say the church. Can't say the church.
At a church that they don't go to, but it's totally fine. You know, it's open. All are welcome. So yeah.
They're probably like, you're a new believer. We're so happy you're here.
It is hilarious though, because last time we barely, like, it did not matter at all if you didn't go to the church. Like, we barely talked about anything. And then the first time we had these guys there, this time they're like, oh, we're going to talk about the sermon each week.
Yeah, but they've really talked about it.
It's true. Yeah.
Like you talked about for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think you were still able to contribute.
I bet you could.
No, it was because he asked something else. I think he like talked about the sermon, but then he was like, what are you thankful for? Or something like that. So.
Well, whatever. The person organizing was like, "Oh, do you want to say something?" I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
God is good.
Yeah. It was great. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then Joy and I have really bonded over TV shows in the last few months.
Let's go.
We have gone on some walks around Austin and talked about The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yes.
Really good time.
Yeah.
Boo. I'm just joking. I don't care.
Lauren is team no one. Lauren is team turn the show off.
Yeah. Andrea did on the phone like the other day, I think spend 20 minutes breaking down the 3 seasons. 20 minutes straight. She just talked and talked. And I was like, and I was kind of having a rough night. So it was kind of soothing to just hear her spill all her thoughts about this series. I was like, yeah, tell me about it. So.
I talked about Belly like she is our mutual friend, and Lauren was not caught up on her life.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to go. Way to educate Lauren on this.
It's good for me to be cultural.
Yeah. And if you're curious, Joy and Matthew have a podcast. One of your latest episodes was all on The Summer I Turned Pretty, right?
It was. Little deep dive analysis that Matthew's never seen it, so I just kind of broke it down and asked him which team he'd be on, and he's like, it was interesting. I thought it was fun. It was fun to do for sure.
Yeah.
You did not like Conrad.
That's right.
That's what we like to hear.
He
I mean,
has
I'm sure
deep
there's more.
trauma. He has deep trauma.
Yes, he
From
does.
what I know.
Lauren knows from my 20-minute synopsis.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
But I mean, maybe this is a good segue for you to give us more context into who you guys are, like what you do, just the short version, and then we'll dig into more on the podcast. But yeah, tell us about yourselves.
We are Joy and Mathieu. I am marriage and family therapist, and we're both relationship coaches.
Well, you are.
And well, in a sense, you are like, let's just talk about we're not going to. Okay, it's fine.
This set it up better because I feel like you're the coach.
Okay,
I don't coach. I more behind the scenes,
sure.
content, like even some of the things that we do, like our online membership
Mhm.
and the course, like that we're launching,
Mhm.
right? Like I do content for those things as well.
Yes.
So I guess in that aspect, I coach, but I'm more of a teacher.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And what we do is pretty niche. So we help Christians who deal with relationship anxiety get freedom from that. And as we talk more about our story, you'll hear that we very much dealt with that when we were dating, and really had to work through it to get married and help people now because we've seen a huge, I wouldn't even say increase, but so many people resonated with our story when we posted about it. And since then, it kind of has taken off into this own little thing, and it's so interesting, but it's so awesome to be able to help people in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember finding your Instagram page, I think maybe around the time that we met in person, but I was like, oh my gosh, it just so beautifully like hits on a pain point and kind of gives language to, I think, what a lot of people experience, but they don't know what's going on inside of them. They don't know, like, the big question is this the wrong person?
Right.
Or am I just dealing with something that is inside of myself that's going to keep showing up over and over, no matter who I'm dating? So, yeah, I just love that you guys are shedding light on that. I think people feel seen when they find your page because they're like, oh my gosh, like you're describing what I've been experiencing and just haven't had the language for it. So, that's a big reason why we wanted to have you guys on, is because I think you're speaking to something that a lot of people resonate with. And I'm sure, like, we have people in our audience. If nothing else, we like to ask questions for ourselves on here. So
True.
But yeah, we're just so excited for you guys to get to share more of your story, and then how you can even help, and people will have opportunities to possibly work with you that we'll share at the end. So yeah, let's jump into your story first. So rewinding, I guess, before you guys met, what was the dating culture that you grew up in? You guys obviously grew up in totally different cultures, cultures, but yeah, if you want to share a little bit about what that looked like.
Well, for me, I am from Belgium, so from Europe. I grew up, I wasn't Christian up until I was 14. That's really when I became Christian. And so I'd say that's when really, because I dated a couple girls before I became Christian, but it was nothing serious. It was just like young teenager stuff, like nothing very significant. But then when I became Christian, that's really when um, my dating culture, if we can say it like that, really developed. I was in a church that was, evangelical, very toxic, very cultish, and dating was pretty much forbidden. It was like you can only date if you know this is the person you're gonna marry. You cannot date if you don't know, and also you have to have the pastor's approval. So
Wow.
and the thing is, like, people, especially me, would never get the approval, because the truth is it was a mostly African church, and the pastor never said it out loud, but after I left the church, found out that the pastor just didn't want white and black to mix.
Wow.
My only options were blacks. So it was just, yeah. So it was kind of low key, not low key, definitely manipulative, and hiding behind some form of holiness and obedience to God, when it was just lies, straight up lies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I would say too, I think so. I grew up in the church all of my life, and I grew up in I would say probably the tail end of purity culture.
Okay.
So I kissed dating goodbye, and there was a series, I forgot what the series name was, but I read all of the books that were kind of a spin-off of that. Um, and it was all about like courting, and you only are like, you're holding yourself off for the one person you're going to marry. And like, it was a really big deal to marry, it seemed like, the first person you date. And so I was like really like idolizing that of, okay, I date one person. It needs to be this right decision. It needs to be this perfect person because I only get this one chance. And
Yeah.
so it was super high pressured, super high stakes. Really, and I feel like marriage is beautiful and we love marriage, but I think too, it was really, really like highly like idealized, and just kind of like, if you don't do this well, then you kind of like, that you get your one shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in this like era of people like, I mean, I wasn't even allowed to date until I think like 18, and I had this boyfriend when I was 18, and that was really toxic. But I was like, I get this one shot, so I kind of have to make this work, which is so messed
Oh
up, and I don't even
man.
know like why I held on, and really messed up. And so dating was really confusing, and it really wasn't very clear, but it really, again, was high stakes and it needed to be this certain way. So that was our background before we even got together. But yeah, it was interesting.
So some high stakes dating cultures for sure.
Yes.
Okay, and then how did you guys meet?
We met. We did ministry school, BSSM, and that's how we met. So I came from Belgium because God took me out of that crazy church.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Woo.
to be like, hey, you need to get better.
Like relearn everything.
Yeah, you need to relearn everything, and so uproot all my former beliefs and my former understanding of who God is, and even just relearning how to date, to be honest, and how
Yeah.
to partner with God in that. Because for me, like, I just didn't know how to partner with God in dating. I didn't know how to choose a spouse, if we can put it that way. So yeah, I met her, and yeah.
And I would say too, before we met, I was already kind of in this process of like, obviously the first boyfriend didn't work out, so I kind of moved past the one person I need to date. And I would say for me, and I don't even know where I kind of got this like idea, but dating was still high stakes for me. But I think it was like, if I date someone, I really would cling on and be like, okay, this needs to work, and like I need to make this work, because I don't really want to really do this multiple times. But also I think I had some like self-worth and like valuing myself and believing like I deserve more than whatever I'm experiencing. So I would really cling on in relationships. And I would say, obviously, in your process, you were very much, I guess we want to put it this way, avoiding, but you had more the relationship anxiety, we'll say, that kind of is like doubting and overwhelmed and all of this stuff, which you had that before we even started dating. I don't know if you want to bring that up, but I think that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know I had that up until I started, dating other girls before I met her. Like, I tried to date a couple girls at BSSM, that kind of helped me in the process, because God really taught me a lot of things during that time. That helped me stay the course even when we were dating, because our our dating wasn't like easy.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of anxiety
Mm.
when we were dating, but obviously the things I learned in my previous attempts, if we can say that, helped me, because I mean, the reason those other relationship, like these other dating attempts didn't work, isn't because like I gave up because I was too afraid or anything like that. It's just that the relationships themselves were not good.
Mm.
So yeah, that what I learned during that time really helped me, because otherwise I think that I would have probably stayed in that cycle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then we started dating like somewhere in that process.
Were you guys friends first?
Yeah, like we
Acquaintances.
acquaintances.
Yeah, we're not.
I
We started
had
talking.
12 roommates, and through
Let's
my
go.
had
Stop.
a
Too
lot. I lived
many.
in the
Too
Mango House. I
many.
don't know if you know what that is,
Wow.
but
I don't know. That sounds like
I loved
BSSM.
it. Like, it's crazy. I loved it.
Tabitha was one of
Yeah,
them.
Tab was one of them.
Yes. Also in our
Like,
life group.
still talk to these people these days. Like I love these girls. But one of the like my roommate she was close to somebody in his revival group, and then like another girl in our house like was in his revival group, and so through mutual connections we would just like be at different gatherings together.
Yeah.
And so we kind of talked, not really, would say hi, nothing crazy. And then like I would say like second semester was when I started noticing him for real, because I was kind of like didn't think anything really of him, but then he got some glow up. I don't know what, he was working out and he
A
shaved his
glow
beard, and I was like, okay, wait, you're cute.
I look like this.
Yeah, you look like this, but before he didn't.
I got bigger though.
Yeah. And so I asked one of my friends, I'm like, is he single? And she's like, I think he's talking to someone. I'm okay, whatever. But like through literally, I sent a DM randomly. Not even like sliding his DM, just like I responded to his story. Like I said, like LOL. And then like he responded back, and then we just started talking every day since. Just kidding. But like
I
we
like
still doing
just
that.
really hit it off, even though we were kind of friends for a while. We never hit off before, but for some reason this moment, the timing, I think, just really worked out well, and we just started talking, like, oh, I think there's something here. And then we didn't start dating for a bit because Matthew kind of freaked out. So I think it was like we kind of like talked for like 4 months, right? I think it was like 4 months, 3 or 4 months, being like, hey, I'm about to leave, like I'm going to grad school soon, are we gonna like date? And he's like, I don't know, I don't want any pressure. Like, okay, I'm not pressuring you, but it's
dang
fine.
it.
But again, I think that was where, if we're talking about relationship anxiety, that's where it started. But I don't think he realized it was there until deeper into our relationship. It was kind of like really showing up. Like the deeper we got, the more it showed up, and like we were long distance. And so it was definitely a challenge of trying to date, because his anxiety triggered my anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I'm not chosen. Does he like me? Like, and so it was definitely a lot of back and forth, and a lot of having to renew our minds, and like actually just like, so I had to surrender it to the Lord of like, okay, if this is not for me, then you can let this go. Like I will let it go. Like I'm not here to like prove to him or anything that I'm like worth his time, because I've done that before and it's not this thing. But also how he is when he's anxious is not at all how he is when he's not, and there's something like different, and this is like a different person. And so I think I was able to recognize the fact that when he was anxious, he was really operating from a whole different place. And I was like, that's not you. So maybe we should figure out whatever that is. Not me, but you should figure out whatever that is. And we can talk. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit, like, okay, so 4 months before you were going to grad school, or?
It was just in between BSSM. I was just wrapping up living there.
Okay.
So like the last part of this second semester.
Where were you moving, Joy? Did you move like super far?
I just moved to Illinois. So I went to grad school at Northwestern, so in like Chicago area.
So you moved across the country. Kind of.
Makes sense, yeah.
That's far. Okay. And that's when you guys started dating, is like when you moved.
Yeah, we started dating that summer before I already moved, but yeah, before I started grad school.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
already started long distance. He was in Belgium and I was in Nebraska. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Way
Okay.
to go.
What made you like decide, Mathieu, that you were ready to date?
I don't know. I mean, for me, I guess it was just kind of in my head. I was very, and I'm still like that. Where like I'm very, even though I'm a very emotional person, um, I still use my brain a lot. I think a lot, and I like to do things that make sense.
Yeah.
And so even though
Love that.
sometimes my emotions would feel, I would be stressed or anxious and having doubts. I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm feeling this way, but I want to do what makes sense.
Yeah.
And we've been talking, we've been getting to know each other for a while, and things are going well. The relationship is going well. There's no red flags, anything like that. So I'm just gonna. I think it's time for me to take the next step and commit more to this, even though maybe my emotions need more time to adjust to my decision. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about like maybe both of your experience, how anxiety came up, like how you kind of processed through it? Like what did that look like? Did you talk to each other about it? Did you have anyone else that you were talking to? Like
There's a lot there.
So we I actually didn't whenever we were experiencing anxiety, I think because I was confused and I didn't really know like who to tell, but also I didn't tell like none of my I don't even think I told anybody that like I didn't tell any of my friends or family or anything. I think I told one person. And I ended up telling my intern on a day where I was like, I think I'm like done. I don't know what to do. This is like a lot.
yeah.
And then the advice she gave, she didn't say anything about breaking up or anything. It was more just like he just did not he doesn't need to share those things with you at all. And then and I think I was like, okay, well, don't tell me anything ever again. And he's like, okay, well, that doesn't feel safe either. I don't really know how to like navigate that.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. But I do
Don't be
think,
vulnerable with me.
yeah,
Like,
I think that
Just
Mathieu
side.
at a fault shared too much,
oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like I was okay if he would have said like, hey, I'm having a lot of like anxiety and I'm confused. I don't really know what's going on. I want to be here,
Yeah.
but I'm like still figuring things out. But I think he was going way too specific on what the anxiety was saying and like what he's thinking. I'm like, I don't really need to hear that at all. That
Oh,
actually hurts my
yeah.
feelings, and now I don't really know what to do with
Yeah.
that. So I think that.
I was learning,
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's okay to even
Totally.
share specifics because I think people who could be experiencing that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I went to BSSM, God took me on a journey of vulnerability, and so I was like, okay, I need to be vulnerable. And so for me, when I do something or I feel like I need to do something, I really like go all in. And so I was oversharing a
Yeah.
lot of times. And I remember one of my neighbors, she also was a BSM student, and we had like two apartments in the same complex where like it was the guys and the girls.
Yeah.
And so we were talking to each other a lot. And one of them, like literally for like 2 hours, I like shared my whole life and like got super vulnerable about things that I'm like, she didn't need to know all that. And even her, we laughed about it later because I was like, you just tell me all your struggles and stuff. And
Day one.
anyways,
Wow.
and so when I started dating her, I was like, hey, I want to be vulnerable with you because I feel like it's important, and obviously it is
Yeah.
important.
Sure.
But I lacked wisdom and maturity because I was also kind of figuring things out for myself too. My
Yeah.
thoughts, I didn't know what to think about the thoughts I was having because it was it was thoughts of like, do I even find her attractive? Do I really love her? Do I really want her? Like, is there maybe someone better? Is there like things like that? And so obviously it's not nice when when you hear your boyfriend be like, I don't know if I find you attractive.
Cool. Okay.
It's like,
Awesome.
Cool.
yeah. So, if she had told me that, I would have been like, look at me, I'm super attractive.
Yeah.
But for her, since she had an anxiety that was kind of like, I don't know if I'm good enough, so
Yeah.
kind of trigger that.
Yeah.
Where I think on my end, I think there's a lot of people struggling with my type of anxiety.
Yes.
And most people that we work with and that she coaches, like they mostly struggle with what I struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of struggle with what you struggle with.
Yeah. I'd say
Most of them
way
struggle with
less.
what I've been through. And there's a lot of pride in that type of anxiety, to be honest, because it's about yourself, and it's about, if you're questioning always, like, if there's someone better, but I think you're also kind of saying like, I deserve better because I'm better. I think there was a part of that was, I think, to be honest, thinking that.
Yeah.
And when it's not true, not that like she wasn't good enough, but more that like you need to be outside of yourself a little bit and understand that it's not about what they bring to you, but also what you bring to them and into the relationship. Anyways,
Yeah. But I will say too that anxiety is really focused on yourself, because I think it's because you're trying to figure things out.
Yes.
And like, if we're talking about where it even comes from for him, and just for even some people, it's this, I don't want to make a wrong choice. And I think in Matthew's case, it was like, I don't want to make the wrong choice, because if I do, it's going to ruin my plan for God, like God's plan for my life, and etc. And so, because I'm in this big choice of making this right decision, perfect decision, I'm analyzing everything. And sometimes it gets too nitty gritty, and I'm focusing on actually the wrong things, when it's not like, if you're focusing on the anxiety, which is the thoughts that are coming up, you're already focusing on the wrong thing, because it's not rooted from there. It's rooted from something deeper. And I think this is what we work with and what we help people with, because I think a lot of people, we have an intrusive thought, and then we just focus on that, and we're like, oh my gosh, well, attraction, or is God saying this, or what if he's not spiritual enough, or whatever. I'm focusing on all these thoughts that are coming up, and then just brings you more spiraling and like overwhelm, and it doesn't actually solve anything, and then you just get like, you're tormented.
yeah.
But I'm focusing on the thought rather than focusing on the root, and the root is so much different than like what the thought is like focusing on. And so, in a sense, like, looking back, I understand where Mathieu was coming from. Like, he's focusing on all these thoughts, and it's like, I don't really know what makes sense. Like, is it right? Is it wrong? Like, do I find her attractive? Like, these are important questions, quote unquote, but they're not important when it's coming from an anxious place, And I think that's where people get confused, because they don't know that's where it's coming from. Like, they think it's like, this thought needs to be studied. You know what I mean? I need to actually know what this means, because I can't move forward if I don't like this person, or if I don't know if I love them, or if I don't know if the feelings are there, when it's like, that's not the real deal in this situation.
Yeah. So what did that look like to kind of work through that and just progress through your relationship?
Well, I mean, I had to share with leaders and mentors that I was there. I'm thankful that I was there. I was in BSM during that time, because I was able to have people that I could share that with, and help me kind of sort through my thoughts, because when you struggle with anxiety, your thoughts just feel like it's all over the place, and they feel so real. It feels like you can't escape that reality that anxiety is telling you. And so it's important to have people that you can speak to. And obviously, I was speaking to her about it, but she wasn't the best person to really give me any type of advice. So that's why I was like, if now looking back, having a little more wisdom, I would have been like, okay, well, let me kind of try to explain to you what I'm struggling with, but it has nothing to do with you or the relationship. It's me struggling with my own things, and then go into details with my mentors and be like, okay, this is what's going on. And so I'm so thankful that I had good mentors.
I was saying that too.
And good leaders, because a lot of Christians, they just don't understand what this is. And they label it as God. they label it as, well, if you have this, that probably means that it's not the right relationship.
Yeah.
And that's not true. It's because you can't, because if you say that because someone has anxiety, that means they're doing the wrong thing. I think
Mm.
you completely misunderstand what anxiety is.
Mm.
And so that was for me. I'm thankful my leaders didn't tell me that. But like, for example, I didn't share that with my dad, because my dad would have been the kind of person who's like, oh, if you have doubts, then it might not be from God.
Mm-hmm.
If you're second guessing, I don't know if it's from God. I didn't tell him that because I
Yeah.
knew he was going to say that. But my leaders actually were super helpful, because basically they were like, hey, like, it's normal to have doubts when you're thinking about commitment. And I remember even one of them, like, I brought up when we were later on into our dating journey, I was just like, I'm thinking about, proposing, but I'm so stressed and I'm so afraid that maybe I'm making a mistake, and I'm not choosing the right person. And for them, they were like, well, they knew her a little bit.
Yeah.
And they were like, she's great. Um, and he told me, he's like, I'm reassured, like, basically it reassures me that you have the doubts a little bit, because it goes to show that you understand that it is a big decision,
Mm.
and that means you understand the weight of your decision.
Yeah.
But if you were to come to me and you had zero doubt and you just were like all in, and just like kind of, I guess, butterflies and all that, I would have been like, I don't know if he understands how big of a decision this is.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, oh, that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's not great. Sometimes I wish I didn't think that much. But it's also just my personality. I'm the kind of person who I just want to make sure I make the best decision possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that can also be really bad, because you overthink and overanalyze everything. So for me, having leaders was super important,
Yeah.
mentors, and just, I will say something. I want to add that, because I think it's probably also the main thing that helped me push through all that anxiety,
Yeah.
is that a lot of Christians, they listen to anxiety, not just for relationships, but just in general. And they think it's God. So that's why they listen to it, because it's like, I think this is God, like anxiety is God. And because anxiety can come from the enemy and be like telling you, yeah, this is God, and I'm telling you that you need to stop doing this, or you need to blah blah. And they listen to it, and they end up in the same cycles of just staying stuck in the same place. But the truth is that anxiety is not God, and God doesn't speak with anxiety ever. And that was something that I learned early on. And so for me, when I had doubts and when I had confusion, I was like, hey, he's not the author of confusion. The kingdom is peace, joy, and righteousness, and the Holy Spirit. Like all these verses, like there's no fear in love, like all these things that I was like, yeah, no, that is not fear, and anxiety is not from God. And so I think a lot of Christians, the reason they're struggling with that is because they're just, and it's not mean, but they're just ignorant. They don't know, they don't understand, what does the voice of God sound like?
Yeah.
And what does the Bible say God sounds like?
Yeah.
They just think that whatever they feel, whatever impression they have, like, people say, I'm a feeler. I'm like, I don't know that I trust feelers, because I think that I've known a lot of people who are feelers,
Yeah.
and how many times their decision ended up being wrong.
Mm.
So I'm like, I think
Yeah.
there's more to listening to God's voice than feeling. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with feeling. I just think that that's just not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think too, if we're talking about it in,
Especially if it's anxiety and fear.
yeah, this even relationship sense,
It's not even worth considering as God's voice.
yeah. And people people overemphasize feelings in a relationship, and then it's like, well, I don't have feelings anymore, so therefore it's like, well, I guess
Yeah, it's another
it's run
thing,
its course. What's the phrase people always say? Like, I fell out of love. Like, that's not how that works. And if we overemphasize feelings on every single thing, we're gonna miss out on a lot of opportunities or a lot of things that would have been really good for us, but we didn't feel
Or they don't have
like it was
butterflies.
supposed to be. And it's like, not every decision is supposed to feel like, not every right decision is gonna feel like so peaceful
And easy.
Yeah.
as you always say. Jesus didn't feel peaceful when he went on the cross, you know what I mean? But it was a good choice. Let's be honest. Like, he was supposed to do
Good.
that. That was his
Yeah.
call.
A lot of
And
people struggle with anxiety in the Bible, but
yeah,
every time it clearly shows that it wasn't from God.
like Moses was like, did not want to do it at all. He was freaking out. But then
Yeah.
it didn't mean that it was wrong. It just was he was freaked out, right? And I think that
before going to the promised land,
yeah,
people freaked out.
exactly.
Yeah.
And now Christians are like, oh, if I freak out, that means not from God.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I feel like you and whoever you're in a relationship with end up being a victim to your feelings,
Yeah.
which is like a terrible way to live. Because
Yeah.
it's, like you have a great night together, you wake up the next morning and you're terrified. And then you're just like on this, like on this roller coaster ride, and you have no way to make it steady, and it's hard to be in a relationship with that person, and it's hard to be that person. Both of those things are hard.
That probably happens a lot, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably why a lot of people get ghosted.
Yeah,
The person on the other end just freaks out.
Yep,
And they don't understand. They don't have emotional.
Should be studied. That's true.
They don't have emotional intelligence to be like, oh, like if I freak out, that doesn't mean the relationship is wrong. Maybe I need to figure out what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Rather than like be like, oh, it's because it's the wrong relationship. I don't think that's how people should navigate relationships. I think it's a terrible way of doing it.
For sure.
You miss out on someone great just because of your own insecurities.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think that's also what pushed me to stay with her, is because we had a moment where we were in Paris, and I shared with her. It was a day I thought I was going to ask her to be my girlfriend. It ended up not happening. I ended up freaking out. But I asked her a couple days later. But then I understood that was one of the things. I was like, I don't want my fear to get in the way of like being with someone that is great.
Yeah.
And so that's why a couple days later, I was like, hey, no, I'm going to do it, even though I am a little afraid. And I did it. But that was like the thing of like, yeah, don't let your fear, fear of missing out is not good to listen to. But maybe sometimes if it's with someone that's great, you shouldn't pass on someone just because you freak out, or you're second guessing, or you're doubting.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. That is good. Joy, what did it look like on your end to kind of work through the different anxiety that you were feeling?
So I'm thankful that before, like I would say a couple months before Matthew and I started dating, the Lord kind of walked me through this process. I did not trust him in relationships, which is very true. And so God was just like working through my heart of like, I want you to actually ask for more and just trust me. And like, I don't want you to actually pursue, because I think I would always eventually I would make the first move. I'm like, oh, let me just ask, or I'll just whatever, put myself in these situations, which is like not wrong. But I think it was also me probably filling in the gap. So I was like, I don't really trust that somebody would do that for me. So let me just do it. And so I took a step back. I didn't do anything, and I was just kind of chilling. And like, and then in that time period, like I feel like there's just different random like opportunities. Random people will say that was showing interest in different things. And so I think in that process, and just like again a couple months before, God was really working on my heart to know my worth and trust myself, but also trust like that, like I'm worthy of being loved, I'm worthy of being pursued. And so obviously when we were dating, like things were great in the beginning, then it went down, and then it was up, and then and I think like because God walked me through that, I was able to stand firm way more than I would have before. I think before I would have been like, oh, I should change something. If he's feeling anxious, I need to convince him that I'm good enough. And I'm like, I just straight up told him, even in Paris, because when he was going to ask me, and I knew he was, and he told me and all the things, whatever. I told him the next day, I was like, hey, like, you take your time, but like we will not be doing anything at all that we're like acts like we're dating until you're ready to commit to me. Cause that's it. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I'm worthy of that. And if you're not ready, that's totally fine. I wasn't like shaming him or anything. I was just having a real clear conversation and setting up boundaries,
Yeah.
I think for myself. I
Good.
think I've never
So
been able to
good.
do before.
Mhm.
And I was like, whenever you're ready, if you don't get ready, that's fine. But cool. And so I kind of just surrendered that process, and I felt the Lord told me to trust him in that moment, and trust the Lord, and also trust Mathieu, which is interesting because it didn't seem like in that moment he was trustworthy. But I was like, okay. And so I just trusted the process, and obviously in that time period it really worked out. And then we had another big moment while we were in long distance in Chicago, and he was in Reading, where I was like, I think we're like gonna break up. And I pretty much just asked him like, hey, like
Mm.
I don't know what's going on, and you're being weird and distant. Are we breaking up? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, well then what are you doing? I don't know what's happening. Like, this is so confusing. And I think too, that was, I think, a wake up for him of like, I don't think when you're anxious, you realize that you're not showing up well, you know, and I think
Mm.
you're just in your own little world. And it's, again,
Yeah.
it's about you. And you're not realizing how much maybe it's impacting the other person.
Mm.
But I was just like, this is what I'm experiencing you like, and I don't know how to respond to that, but like that doesn't feel good. So like
Yeah.
if you're gonna talk to me, like I just need you to be more present, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think again in that moment I was able to name so much more boundaries than I ever had in any past relationship before, and just like stay firm in my worth. Which I think again, if before I didn't have that experience, I don't know how this would have gone.
Yeah.
um I think it would have been really messy, more messy than it already was. um so I just had to kind of like trust, because I think too, because I knew Matthew was working on himself and really getting mentorship, I trusted that this would be fine. I think
Mm.
that if he would have been like kind of more complacent, like I don't know, and I would have been like, okay, well then if you don't know, that's fine, but I'm not here to sit around. We're long distance already. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this won't work then.
Yeah.
And so I knew that he was trustworthy because he was doing a lot of the work on his own
Mm.
and not involving me anymore, which was good. And so that was helpful, I think. And so
Yeah.
by the time I don't even remember when that time period happened when I thought we were breaking up, but then like after that, I don't know what happened, but I felt like things started shifting, and then it kind of like continued to accelerate. And then like we had a very quick engagement marriage because of green card process. We didn't really understand what that was and how that worked.
What do you mean?
I didn't know. I just thought we can get married whenever we wanted. I didn't know there was a whole procedure. Like, yeah, I
If
thought
I
he could just,
leave
yeah.
the country,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
actually, one of like our first hangouts, we were eating chips and salsa, and Joy was telling me, like, oh yeah, we had like relationship anxiety. And then she told me the situation that they got married under. And I was like, it is a miracle that you guys navigated this. Like,
Honestly, yeah. That's so I feel like too, so the Lord, I will have to say, because again, I don't remember when that time period happened where I thought we were gonna break up. I don't know how soon it was to when we actually got married, but that happened, and then like things started shifting. He had a mission trip in Chicago, actually, like the Heaven and Business, I think. Is that what,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, and so he was in Chicago, and in that time period, it was just like I don't know. It felt like I just felt like we were really connecting, and it felt like things felt more at peace.
yeah.
I think a lot of people also on the like people in my mission trip were like welcomed her to
Mm,
be around,
mhm,
even though she was a part of the mission trip. But obviously, they didn't need to feed her; they didn't need
yeah.
to accommodate her. So it was nice because they were like just really kind people,
Mhm,
Mm.
and they were able to see us
mm,
interact with each other,
mhm,
and they were just very comforting
Yeah.
mm,
and validating us.
yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, my mistress leader, she was part of Bethel Austin for a few years until she left for Oklahoma. She was one of the
She
intercessors.
left. I didn't know she left. Okay, sorry.
They moved to Oklahoma.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was there recently for the conference.
Oh,
That's where
okay,
we
great.
saw her.
Okay.
Her name is Lisa. I don't know if you know her, Andrea. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
she was like from South Africa. And yeah, then she ended up being in Austin, which I didn't know about. So when I moved here, it was funny to see her.
Oh, fun.
And for her, probably great to see us as like a married couple.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because that mission trip that was in April. We got married in May, so
Yeah.
it was
Whoa.
really like
Whoa.
I think it was like mid-April. After the mission trip, he went back to Reading, and we talked about marriage. Of like, what if we got married? I don't even know who brought it up, why we brought it up.
What
And
if
it's
we
kind
got
of a
married in
joke. Yeah, I was like, we never know. But it was kind of a joke, but also just like, oh, we should probably see what this looks like anyway, because you're not from here, so I don't really know. Can you just come on a tourist visa? No, you can't.
A lot of people do it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to, but we did not do
you're
that.
not supposed to, but a lot of people do it. I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
I
but
know some people who have done that.
he if that was like, we looked it up and we found out like, oh, if we want to get married, either we get married now because he leaves in June, or we wait and do a K1 visa, which would have been like a whole process.
It's a fiance visa.
A fiance visa. So we get engaged, and it's like a 6-month process, or longer. Sorry. Then we get to get engaged, and then like we get married. I don't even remember.
Get married.
Yeah, then we have to get married.
Yeah, fiance visa. Then once it's approved, you have 90 days to get married.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, what do you think? Like, I'm like, we could if you want. It was like really like a kind of like, let's just. I remember saying like, how about I ask my parents? I thought they would say no, like you're crazy, like chill out,
Yeah.
like just wait. And I was like, okay, let me just ask my parents. And so I talked to my dad, and my dad's like, go for it. I'm like, you're kidding. I literally was like, you're kidding me. What? He's like, get married. If you know you want to get married, like get married. I'm like, okay. And I told my dad said it was fine. It's crazy. I don't remember if you talked to your parents. I'm sure you did. I don't know. And so
I don't even, to be honest, I think it was God's grace, because I don't even know how I brought that up to my parents that I was just getting married.
yeah, honestly, it was really, really random.
They were really confused.
They were really confused.
Do your thing.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
It's like, as long as you come back to Belgium after, like you said you were, because I had some promises I had made.
Sister's wedding and stuff.
My
Yeah.
sister was getting married. My sister was getting married. Yeah, and I was supposed to be part of the wedding, which I was, because I went back to Belgium. But yeah, so that was just a crazy time.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I'm so thankful it's behind us.
Yeah. And so yeah, then we literally were like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Oh
And then
my gosh.
I went to Reading I told my friends like we're getting married, and so we're getting married on this date, whatever. And so I went back to Reading for like my friends threw me like a bachelorette party and him like an engagement party and bachelorette party, and then his friends threw him a bachelor party, and then we got engaged the next day, even though we already were, whatever. And then so I think we got engaged on May 5th. I think that's right. And then we got married May 17th. So
No
it was
way.
really like fast, obviously. And again, we just had experienced relationship anxiety. Like it literally was just like the Lord at that time. I think it just like
Wow.
accelerated, and it was just like, okay, we're doing this, and there was no turning back, right? And I do think there is something, as you would say, but I think even for me, it was like once we're in it, and once we're married, this is it. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not here to like, oh, now we have anxiety. No, this is it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, figure it out. Like, we're good. And so I was nervous, I will say, because I think I was like, we just experienced this. What if he like goes back and like freaks out and then he's stuck and whatever?
Yeah.
But like, thank the Lord that was not our situation. Like it was, I feel like really good. And like didn't experience any of that. And then
Wow.
had a long distance marriage. It's another story for another day. But yeah, all of it really worked out, and I'm so thankful that we were able to like deal with it at that time. I feel like the timing of things just worked out so well, because I know that if he was still dealing with anxiety, we would have not had this conversation. Obviously, it would have been like,
Right.
big deal. Let's just wait. We have time. It's not a big deal.
Totally.
But I will say, thank the Lord that we got married, because guess what happened? The following March, COVID. And if we would have done the K1 visa, it probably would have delayed us for at least another year and a half. And so like the timing was really crazy. Oh my gosh. It was great. It's just crazy to think about like that.
I mean, it honestly taught us.
So
It
wild.
taught me a big lesson, just in the sense of sometimes when you're hesitant about things, you just got to do them because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think I heard a quote the other day that was really good. It said something like indecision hurts more people than bad decisions.
Whoa.
Wow.
Because you stall out.
And I was
Dang,
like,
that's good.
true. That's
Wow.
true. So for me, I can say that for my life because I feel like I've made a lot of the decisions I've made that maybe, were big decisions, but that I was like, okay, you know what? I know it's a big decision. I know I'm scared, but I feel like I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I've done them, and they've always paid off to be something good.
Yeah.
Because I just think that God also, because it's faith, I think, it's making
Totally.
decisions by faith. And so God rewards that rather than like people who are certain
Yeah.
or who need to be certain before they make a move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'll write that
Yeah.
down. Like, it's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. Anyway.
Next reel. Indecision.
Yeah.
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, so because I feel like the fear is when you're experiencing anxiety, if I get married, not only am I gonna keep experiencing this, but I'm gonna be trapped. So yeah, but now you've been married for 5 years, 4 years?
6 years.
6 years. Okay, so you're on the other side of this whole journey. Like, what would you tell people that are like afraid of being trapped in just feeling anxious every day, or those kind of things?
I'll say
Follow Joy on Instagram.
No, we talk all about it.
We'll drop it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I will say, like, as you heard our story, we had to work through some of these things before we got married. I will say, 'cause I think that I don't know. I don't know if we would have just jumped in way earlier, what would happen. I don't know if that would have been good. I know for some people, some of my clients, I had a client who she was feeling a lot of anxiety, and then her and her husband now just eloped. And they're like, okay, I guess we're in it. Like, all right, wow, okay, that works too.
Whoa.
Is that what I know?
You know what? You don't know her name, but
Oh,
we
okay.
worked together. And so I was like, okay, wow, that's awesome. And it worked for them,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I'm experiencing some, but I also am like, we're in it. And I'm like processing through that. I will say, like, for us, obviously, we didn't experience an ounce of it once we got married, even like obviously beforehand a little bit too, but we didn't have any.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I didn't expect I was obviously a lot better by the time we got married.
For sure.
I did a lot of work on myself, but I still had, my moments. And I was still like, I gotta go I gotta do this. And then after we got married, like the next few days, like I really didn't have anything. I was kind of surprised because I didn't expect it to be so night and day different.
Wow.
But it's because it all comes down to your beliefs.
Yeah.
If you have anxiety, it's because you have a deeper belief that needs healing and that needs to be changed. And so what I realized is like, oh, I had much healthier beliefs when it comes to marriage than when it comes to dating.
Oh, interesting.
That's true.
And so my beliefs around dating were so messed up that it caused me so much anxiety and second guessing and double-mindedness and fear. But my beliefs around marriage were actually pretty solid. And so when we got married, like she said, for me, the hard part wasn't marriage. The hard part was choosing someone and going forward with it. That was the hard part. But once I was married, my beliefs were like, no, like she said, we're in this, we're not backing out. We're not, this is, even though maybe before we got married, I was like, I hope I'm doing God's will. Once I was married, I knew 100% God's will was for me to stay married. And to not back out. It doesn't matter if the decision is maybe wrong, maybe it was a wrong choice, whatever. No, if we're both Christian, and we both love God, then God's will for our marriage is to stay together and to fight for this and to stay connected and to honor it, to really honor this thing. So that's why I think I know that's why when we got married, the anxiety left because it knew it couldn't have a hold on me. Because I knew I was locked in once we were married. Before I was not, but once we were, I was like, no, this is it. We sealed the deal.
Yeah.
So
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll say, I think for people, I think for some people, the fear is around the dating process. The fear is around the engagement process. The fear is around a marriage, or whatever it is. I think that that's important to note because some people, unfortunately, really unfortunately, do experience anxiety when they still are married. And I'm like, man, that's hard. Because I think that there's some belief again they're having about their marriage. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what if I made the wrong choice? And like, no, like the reality is you didn't. Like you're in it. I promise you, you didn't. So you will work it out and figure it out. Obviously, we're not including abuse or whatever. Anything that's like bad.
Abuse.
That's bad. And like, please leave that. Obviously,
if you married someone like that, then
but
you made a wrong choice.
Most people, right? That's not good. Like it's okay to leave that. But most people who are following or even message me will say about it, and they're married. They're like in a great marriage. They have kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like I promise you, you're good. Like do not allow the enemy to have any foothold in your marriage because he'll run with it if he can. The enemy wants to destroy marriages. That's kind of like the point because he knows how powerful marriage is. And so I think like it's just a matter of like if you are married, I don't know if you're listening, you're married and you have anxiety, just know like you're in a good choice. Trust the choice and let the anxiety go. Like it's kind of just like you can't even entertain it. As easy as it's easier said than done, but we cannot entertain thoughts when we're in that place because marriage is sacred. And obviously, like dating is beautiful too. And I think this is where it gets tricky because we're not married, right? And so it's easier to be like, well, I should be questioning everything because this is a huge choice, right? But it's like the enemy wants it robs you of your dating life too because it's like so we're kind of lukewarm. That's the word.
Like half in and half out. Double-minded.
And it's like being able to like this is kind of the basic things to say. Like if you guys have the same values, you both have the same faith, you guys get along and like you guys like each other, like can enjoy each other's presence. And I feel like that's like really the main thing because we had no idea we'd be doing this when we got married. You know what I mean? Like I think people are so fixated on what's the call that you have in your life because does it match with mine? I'm like, I honestly, for the most part, I'm like, can you just throw that away? Because we don't know what our calls are. We are so focused on
most people don't know
10 steps ahead when we're right here. God, like that's not, I feel like for the most part, God gives people specific calls. That's fine. I get that. But we don't know how it's going to look. And we don't know how we're controlling how we think God's call is going to be in our life rather than just being like, I'm going to marry someone and just trust that like this all going to work out. And I feel like even for us that we were trying to like, let's say manipulate what we thought our call would be. I don't even know what we would have done because I didn't even have a call. I was a therapist. You know what I mean? Like,
looking back at this, it's kind of funny that Christians believe that because I just don't think there's in the believer's life, I don't think there's a higher calling than getting married and having kids. I think all the other stuff is secondary.
Right. I think it's a good point.
So, like your ministry is secondary to your marriage and to your kids. So
that's a good point.
I think that I don't know why this whole calling thing has been so like magnified in our generation. We're like, I mean, I don't know how you can relate to this, but I know you relate to this. Where like when I was growing up in the church, like being in ministry was like the highest thing
you could
do. And so for me, I thought I was going to be a pastor. And I thought like all these things, and now looking back, I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's so limiting. There's so many things that we're called to do, but like, above all things, we're not called to be a pastor or to be a prophet or no. Get married and have kids. That's higher. That's a higher calling to me than any of the ministries or whatever.
And that's where it gets tricky because if people do emphasize their calling, that's where families are destroyed because it's like, well, I'm a pastor first. Like, no, you're not. And anyway, like, but that's like a
Yeah.
side note. But I do think that like if we're seeing it logistically, your call isn't going to dictate who you marry. And I think people, again, we emphasize that too in the dating culture.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
might if you're a missionary and you're like overseas, you know what
Sure.
I mean?
Oh
But
yeah, like if your hearts
Yeah.
are like in completely different
Right.
places, that's
but
maybe
for
something
most
different.
Christians, I think your calling actually starts making more sense once you're married,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, I guess continuing with our generation, do you feel like it is more prevalent, dating anxiety, in our generation than it has been in others?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we made it way more complicated. I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of complicated aspects now, like social media,
Yeah.
dating
Yes.
apps,
Yeah.
Yes.
dating shows.
There's more options.
Yep.
Yes.
There's more options, and the human brain does not do well when there's too many options.
Mm.
So now, back then, really, you were getting married within your own circle.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
wasn't as much. We're not as connected to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And also a lot of marriages also were arranged marriages, which in a lot of cultures seem to be doing pretty well, because they have good,
Different
healthy,
values.
strong beliefs about marriage.
Yeah.
But in our generation, I think it's amazing that we get to choose, but I think that we're not great at choosing.
Especially when you have the aspect of like social media, because you're like, well, I could just find somebody literally in a whole different country
Yeah.
and marry them.
Like, what if someone's better?
Yeah. Yeah.
People think that a lot, and
Too many choices.
Yeah.
that's what I tell people is like, yeah, there's probably someone better, but it doesn't matter.
And this is where the ghosting probably comes in, because if
Yeah.
I'm on an app, I can keep swiping and maybe find someone better, and that's hard.
Yep.
Do you want to find someone better, or do you want to be with someone that's real
Mm-hmm.
and that's in front of
That's
you?
good.
Because yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that like comparison is one of the things that triggers it for
Oh,
people?
for sure.
100%. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Especially with Christian influencers.
It's I can be really toxic
Yeah.
when you see like, I mean, social media is fake. We have to call it what it is,
It's
right?
great.
Like it's
Right.
incredible because you can find really good resources, and it can also be really toxic. And you can see people online who it's like, oh my goodness, my boyfriend just like on my birthday did all these things. And not only did this, we also prayed and fasted together, and like, oh, and we like it gets like this perfect image. And
This
you're like,
encounter with God together.
yeah, it's like I don't look like that at all. Something is wrong. My boyfriend doesn't do that. Is he spiritual enough? Like, is something wrong with you? Like, should I be having someone
Yeah.
more spiritual and more aligned?
Yeah.
And it can get really, really toxic very quick because we compare, and it's like it should look like this, and it's like it shouldn't look like anything. Like in a normal relationship, we're not doing that. Let's just be
Yeah.
real. We're not. And that's okay. You know what I mean? And also we're not posting it and putting it online. You know what I mean? Like reality is like we set up this whole perfect shot so you could see this and see our life looks so perfect. But
Right.
like most people are doing way more things behind closed door. You're not seeing what they're doing. And that's not in a good way, obviously. And also like you're not seeing the arguments. You're not seeing the real life because it's
Yeah.
that's part of a relationship too.
Yeah.
And so I
Even
think
us,
yeah.
even on her Instagram, like, when we post a
Right.
reel with us, we're like staging it. You know what I mean? Like we're like, hey, let's smile, let's do our thing, and not that we don't like each other or that we don't love each other. We obviously do, but we also know that like if we were just to stand there. And,
Well, we did one time. Remember the first one that went viral?
oh yeah.
He was over it. He did not want to do it. And I filmed us, and he was kind of like, he was just kind of like tired and didn't really want to be in this shot. And so many comments were like, I'm like this guy. My husband did not like doing it too. This guy doesn't even care about her. He was saying so many
it's like,
comments.
oh, you can tell this guy doesn't even like her.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm like, babe, you gotta have to try.
Oh my
But
gosh.
also, it just for me, I'm trying more now because also it's sad, but
Yeah.
it sells more.
It's more aesthetic.
Like
If we
people
look
are
nice,
drawn to
realistically.
people that looks
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
Not okay. We are happy. We are
Just to
being honest
clarify.
here. Yeah, we are honest here in the
Yeah.
sense of like, yeah, we're we hug when we're on our reel, we kiss when we're on our reel
Yeah.
because it's for the real,
Mhm.
But I think that the day when it's dangerous is when you think that like social media is
100% exactly what it's always supposed to
yeah,
look
it's like always
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like your relationship is always like that. I'm like, no, most of the
Yeah.
time we're chill, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. As someone who experiences Joy and Mathieu outside of their reels on Instagram, they do love each other. It's not
A witness here.
in normal
Yeah.
life too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man. Okay, well, I want to honor your guys' time, even though
I
I
don't
feel
even
like
know
we
what
could
time it is.
keep
Oh, okay, we're good. Not too bad.
even though we could keep asking you questions. If
Yeah.
there are any other things like that, I guess, okay, to maybe set up somebody who is struggling with this, like you could run through maybe some things that you help people work through, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll say, for some people, like if we're talking about it, maybe even in like our membership,
Mm-hmm.
what we would do there is we're more hitting like really common anxious anxiety thoughts. So
Okay.
attraction, feeling, the one, um, God's voice, making decisions, like all these things. And like I think for some people that's like enough because they're like, oh, you're normalizing these thoughts that I'm having, and you're able to actually like, it's not bad that I'm having them for one, but also how do I challenge the thought and actually work with that in a relationship, you know? And I think, and for some people, like they can, that's enough. It's like the top level type of work, and we can move on, and that's great. And I do think that's really helpful
Yeah.
because you're in a community of people who are like, I have anxiety too. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And there's like really like a camaraderie in that. And then for some people, they need more depth of like, we talk about this in a sense, like there's 3 levels of anxiety. We have the top level, which is the intrusive thoughts. Then we have a deeper fears, and we have the negative core beliefs. And we need to figure out what the negative core beliefs are in order for us to figure out why the thoughts are coming up in the first place. And so and I think we all have different reasons as to why our anxiety shows up. Like whether that's like beliefs we got from church, our parents' marriage, uh, what we heard in like see in society, like whatever, like maybe Disney Channel has informed how we think relationships supposed to look like, and it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Our expectations, right? And so I think like once we get a clear picture of like why is this showing up in the first place, then we actually can start like the process of really rewiring our thoughts, because I think it is like a renewing of the mind, truly. And there's some pretty formed beliefs that we've had all our lives for whatever reason. And some people just need to actually, like, we need to go in there and like really like take that out and be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is where we kind of, some people like, we make promises unintentionally of like, I will never have a marriage like my parents. And it's like, okay, but then that's like a deeper fear that's coming from that. And so every relationship, I'm looking at it like I'm comparing it and being like, oh my gosh, like, what if this, like, anytime I see a fake red flag, like all these red flags aren't really red flags, but I see something that triggers me and it feels like it's wrong. I'm like, nope, it has to be perfect. It has to be so smooth because I can't have any ounce. I can't leave anything to chance. And so a lot of the times when we're overthinking all of these thoughts that we're like, overthinking and doubting and questioning all these things that are in our mind, we're focusing on all these thoughts, but they're coming from a place that maybe our anxiety is attempting to protect us from. If we ever watch like Inside Out 2, oh my gosh, it's so good. If you've not seen it, I love the movie.
So good.
I'm gonna show our kids someday, but this is what anyway. But yeah.
You're
But,
pausing and like asking them questions.
But in this scene, you can see anxiety is like it's like this chaotic scene. I cry every time I see it, but it's like anxiety is trying so hard to like put everything into place and be like freaking out, and everyone's like, hey, like calm down, like. And I think I don't remember if Joy touch her.
Yeah.
Joy touches her and she like calms down, and they all kind of like, I think, like come together. But it's just like anxiety is trying so hard to protect us from these fears and beliefs that it's working overtime, you know. And it's, in the reality, it's like everything that our intrusive thoughts are telling us aren't real, and we have to be able to like, the only way we can silence that is also being able sometimes to realize like, oh, it's actually coming from here. It's not even at all coming from this wisdom or God thought that's coming in my mind. Like if it starts with a what if, it's probably not God. And if it's bringing up all this anxiety, it's not God, period. And so there's like a couple, like we'll say, elements that we work through, but I think that it's super important to maybe understand like your anxiety is not coming from like just a random thought that pop into your head. A lot of times it's coming from deeper places, and we need to know where that's coming from.
Yeah. That's so huge. Yeah, like recognizing the symptom and then getting down to the root of it and kind of rooting out those core beliefs that are making everything feel crazy. So
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so there's the membership, and then do you guys also offer like one-on-one coaching?
Yes. I offer one-on-one coaching. And everything, I guess we'll just put.
Yes, we can
submit it to you, whatever.
Yeah.
And we have a course coming out. I guess it's gonna be November. I think we said Black Friday.
Okay.
I think you said that, but it's coming out in November.
Perfect.
And it's actually a course that's going to help walk through exactly what I just talked about.
Yeah.
Of like,
Okay.
Because like our membership is great, and I think it's amazing because there's a community aspect where we have Q&As on top of master classes, and we have a group chat. But I think for some people, like she said, if you really need like a deep inner work, and you still like, even though you've been, and I think even for some people in the membership, like you've been still repeating the same things, and I think the course would be great. Because it really teaches you how to renew your mind and change your beliefs. And then obviously if you really need more work, you need to do one-on-one coaching.
Because it's more individual, it's more personal,
it's
right?
individual, and it's case by case, and
those are the 3 things we offer besides our podcast as well.
So the podcast is, if you want like a free dip your toe in and just kind of check things out, and your Instagram, I feel like, is a good resource for that too. So we'll throw everything in the show notes for you guys, but honestly, if you follow Joy on Instagram, you will be able to find your next steps. She has laid it out for you. But oh my gosh, guys, thanks so much for coming on. And I feel like I wasn't actually taking notes, but I was taking notes in my head because I've heard so many good things that you're dropping, and so many things that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if it doesn't look exactly the way it looked for you guys. Like there's aspects of it that I think, just even social media, comparing your relationship to that is like, across the board. So such good stuff. I'm so thankful. For anyone listening, Lauren's power went out. So we lost Lauren.
We lost one.
If you saw her drop out on YouTube, that's where she is.
We love you, Lauren. R.I.P.
We love you, Lauren.
She's in the dark.
She's in the dark.
But Callie, did you have any last questions for
I mean,
our guests?
I could have so many questions, but honestly,
I think we might have to have them back.
And I feel like you guys covered so much, and like Andrea said, there were so many things where I'm like, I'm taking note of that myself. So thank you guys for what you do. I think it's super powerful when you've been through this process on your own, and then you come out with such tools that you're like literally have like a business essentially out of it. Like that's amazing. So if that's not a testimony of what the Lord can do, I don't know what is. So thank you. Like that's amazing.
Of course.
It's so true. Well, again, thank you guys for coming on, and anyone who's listening, thank you for listening and taking time. We hope this was helpful, and we're so excited to get to actually point you to a resource.
That's right.
We don't really offer any resources. We're like, tune in next week. So we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.